Hello, hello. Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Today we're going to do something a little different. I've been feeling this full moon portal is pretty intense. And so today's actually going to be centered around forgiveness. I think it's such a difficult thing for so many of us, either to forgive others or especially to forgive the parts of ourselves that acted to the best of their abilities, right? So let's see where we go today. We're just going to see what is blocking forgiveness, what would support us on this journey, spirit of self-forgiveness, what would help us detach and let go. All right, hold on. Cards are exploding everywhere. All right, so I will take the ones that flipped. All right. We have physical activity in reverse. We have abundance in reverse. We have patience upright. Well, we can't do anything without patience, right? And then we have love partnership in the unconscious. Interesting. Temperance. Okay, let's feel into this. It's funny. A lot of the energy just went to my third eye. It kind of stopped me for a moment. I actually had to stop the recording and get a drink just to kind of allow the energy to dissipate. Okay, so what's being pushed into the unconscious here is this concept of moderation. You know, moderation goes both ways, right? It's a double swinging door. And so sometimes it's not only moderating our actions and behaviors, but also moderating our non-actions and non-behaviors, right? It could be moderating how much you allow yourself to speak negatively about yourself, to complain about something. Carolyn Mace always talks about woundology, like don't speak woundology. Talk about your issue or problem 5 or 6 times with someone or in a container that is safe and that you trust. But at some point, you have to wield your sovereignty, wield your divine life force in a way that says, you know what, no more. I can't continue to give my power over to this thing that happened a long time ago, and or give your power away to worry and stress about the future, something that hasn't happened yet, right? So much of this journey is literally being able to command your spirit. It's literally being able to call your spirit back from places it doesn't belong into the present moment. I know you hear a lot, if you've been following me for a while, you hear these phrases that I say over and over again, but repetition is not redundant, right? Repetition, of course, we want to repeat these pillars of truth over and over again. For me, they become my North Star. Or a fun way to say it is, have you ever gone to a bowling alley and you ask for the bumpers so that it blocks the gutter from, it blocks the ball from going in the gutter? These things these pillars of truth that I repeat over and over and over again are those gutters. They keep me on the straight and narrow. They call my spirit back from places it doesn't belong and remind me of what is my goal here, right? Where am I going? Well, where are we going? We are going to the present moment, right? Okay. What else do we have here? Patience upright, physical activity in reverse, abundance in reverse. Let's remember, I just want to anchor us in this awareness. We are looking through the lens of forgiveness. This is a forgiveness reading. So I asked quite literally, what are the blocks to forgiveness? What would support this journey of forgiving self and other? And so we got these things. So are some of you, and I just want to honor, let's bring a lot of empathy and compassion when we are in the trenches of something very difficult, whether it's self-loathing, whether it's some version of a dark night of the soul, whether it's in victimhood or blaming or rejecting or clinging, whatever sort of density you might be in, let's honor how difficult it is to sometimes get out of that. So if you found yourself in a position where you haven't been maybe making the best choices for your body, mind, spirit? Have you not been getting enough movement in? I mean, this physical activity is in the center of this reading. It's also purple with the blue. So we have crown and throat chakra here. Let me just say this directly. Moving your body is a direct route to source, is a direct route to your higher self. I know that's kind of like a dramatic thing to say, but creating protected space in your time, in your physical world, in your schedule is hold on. I just got like a stomach thing. Do you see how much of this stuff moves through my body? It's pretty incredible. I don't want to lose this thread though. Loving yourself enough to take up enough space to create time for physical activity. And that gets to be whatever feels good to you. That gets to be a walk, that gets to be putting on a yoga video on YouTube, that gets to be going to the gym, that gets to be calling a friend and going for a walk through the woods. It gets to be whatever your heart's desire is. However, making this claim out to the universe that you are going to commit to some sort of movement. It could be a dance class. Do you have a local ecstatic dance? If you're in Connecticut or New England, you can contact me. We have a bunch of them around here in the kind of tri-state area. But when you're moving your body, when you're allowing your spirit to move you in a way, I just got full body chills. When you're, how do I say this? It's funny because I'm feeling it before I can put it to words. I got full body chills and now tears are showing up. What is this for you? What is this sacred movement? What type of movement helps you surrender the monkey mind? What type of movement helps you unplug? When we choose to create movement in our lives, be it a walk or a dance or something even juicier for you, you are surrendering to the mystery of the divine, right? We are surrendering to the quantum field. When you are dancing, you don't preemptively control or plan what moves you're going to make, right? So this is a sacred version of surrendering to the mystery. And I think why it's so important and why I'm getting emotional and why it's showing up in this reading about forgiveness is because it is a version of prayer. And what is prayer? During prayer, we are allowing ourselves to be loved. That is a line from Saint Teresa of Avila. Someone once asked her, what happens or what are we doing when we're praying? And she said, we allow ourselves to be loved. And so there's this thing about devotion. You know, it's funny when we think about devotion or prayer or doing these things, we don't, I think, initially think we're doing them for ourselves. Right? When you make a devotion, you kind of, it's an outward action oriented thing. So it kind of feels like we're doing it for something else or someone else or giving back to the divine or like whatever, in service or fill in the blank. However, we forget how much we receive in those moments of devotion, in those moments of surrendering to the mystery, surrendering our ego to the unknown parts of self. And that's scary, right? That can be scary, but it also gets to be sacred and beautiful because listen, the second you choose to surrender, the second you realize you are held. And that's the freaking trick of it all, right? That's the difficult part, is that it's the scary thing, right? It feels so scary to jump off the cliff and do the hard thing. And then while we're on our way down, you know, leaping over the edge, we realize, oh, we were held the entire time. And that's a maturation process. I'm not saying we are immature, but it's quite literally, it just takes experience and trust in something greater. It's a practice of surrender. People talk about surrender a lot. They throw that word around, but to actually understand the longitude and latitude of what it takes to be able to surrender and detach and let go in a difficult moment, it is profound work. So do not beat yourself up if you are struggling to surrender right now. Another message that's coming through here is that through this physical activity, whatever that looks like for you, and I implore you to choose the most exciting, juicy, fun version of that, or peaceful, or whatever feels the best for you. I actually wrote in my journal this morning, do what you want when you want to do it. And that's such a funny thing to come out of me, but I realized I slowly but surely, maybe because my physical body has been struggling, maybe because I was traveling and my, resources were a little bit depleted, but slowly but surely I started losing a grasp on my boundaries. And all of a sudden I was allowing other people to command my schedule, to, pull me off my center. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me call my spirit back from all those places that it didn't belong, right? And another version of saying that is, where in your life are you doing things or in relationships or whatever it is that are not sustainable? Or do you have a friendship that is not sustainable? Do you have a friendship that takes more than it gives, or a relationship? It's time to look at that. I was about to be harsh and say cut it out, like cut it literally, quite literally cut it out of your life, but that's harsh, right? So you have to find, your journey is in finding your calibration of drawing a boundary, whatever that looks like for you. Some people do cut it off. Some people get the awakening, get the awareness, and cut it out of their lives the next day or that minute. Some people break up with their partner in that minute and start packing their crap up and get out of there. Some people walk into their boss's office and quit and literally leave work, right? So that's not for everyone. So I just wanted to honor and name that disclaimer, that these awakenings can be really powerful. It's literally a surge of consciousness, of conscience. It's a surge of, whoa, 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 I don't want to live this way, and I am living this way. What do I have to do to get out of it? Who do I have to cut off? What do I have to move? Do I have to quit? Do I have to break up with them? Whatever it is for you. So let me get back to our message here. The other message that's coming up is, you, through this physical activity, through this devotional practice to self and the collective, that's what it is. When you choose to do something and move your body for self, that is a devotional practice to self. All of this abundance is going to come into you. It's where you're going to commune with source. This is what's coming in this message. This might not be for everybody all the time, but remember, we are working under the umbrella of forgiveness in this reading. You're being asked to have a profound amount of patience with your communication, with your throat chakra. If you feel something that's very difficult on this path is, if you do have this massive awakening, and you all of a sudden have all the thoughts, you have all the awareness, you have all the wisdom, and you're not yet ready to speak it out into the world, that can feel painful. If you've noticed you have a lump in your throat, or if you have a sore throat or sore tonsils, if you have mouth issues, teeth issues, more bad breath than normal, literally any sort of mouth issue, this can also equate to communication issues. Just all you have to do is recognize it, right? You don't have to hit the ground running. You don't have to immediately force yourself to cross your boundary and say things you're not ready to say. But just bring your awareness to it and speak to the part of self that is not ready, right? We're always on this path of honoring our internal family parts and integrating, bringing them closer, learning about these parts of self that are struggling with different things, and not betraying, rejecting, or abandoning them. We're being called to pull these parts closer to self. Speaking of throat chakra, hold on. Oof, okay. Dry throat today. Is there anything else here, Spirit? The only card I didn't really talk about was this love partnership. It came out sideways. You know, it's really easy to project an external love partnership onto this. But for me, and it's a 26 card, reduces to 8, that's an infinity card, right? This is a long-term longevity legacy relationship. And to me, the relationship that fits that mold is the relationship we have with ourself, with our loved ones, and with source. Really, let's fix that order of operations. It's really our relationship with source, or the collective, or the universe, or the quantum field. Fill in whatever your flavor of God you like, fill in that. First it's source, then it's self, then it's other, right? That's how we fortify the spirit, is to honor where we came from, honor who and what we are, and honor where we are currently, to bring the realm and the wisdom and all of our lives that we had in the realm of spirit down into the realm of matter. Okay. You know, it's funny, I've been thinking a lot about being on camera, because I can't tell you how much of my communication is through my body. So that might have to happen sooner or later. I was cracking up because if you guys saw me, my hands are like out, up above my head, out in the air talking to you. It's just a funny thing to me. Okay. So again, we are coming into moderation with anything that is unkind to self. Whew, let's see where else we're going to go. What else, Spirit? What else? Where are we going? Okay, what do we need to know? I was about to ask a question, but I didn't have to. Answers. Okay. I keep staring at this patience card. So much of the path, again, you're gonna hear me say it a million times, is surrendering to the present moment. And another quality of that surrender is patience, right? Letting go of our attachment of how we think it should be or how we want it to be, and being patient enough to allow the answers to bubble up from the mystery, right? We're not going into the darkness or going into the unknown, ripping the answers from it. No, we have to become an empty vessel so that the mystery can gift us with an answer, gift us with an awareness, with a synchronicity. I'm sure most of you, if you're listening to someone like me, you've all had an experience with a synchronicity, right? You're thinking of someone and then they call you, or you're thinking of how your grandmother always loved, black feathers, and all of a sudden you see black feathers wherever you go. Whatever that is for you, those things do not come because we're taking them, right? They come because we are surrendered as we move through this like weird life experience, right? This weird spiritual experience as a spiritual being in a physical vessel. Okay, anything else, Spirit? I'm also really drawn to this answers card with this, I don't know if you could see, but he has one blue eye and one red eye, fire and ice. That's another kind of like weird twin flame reference to me, but I'm just gonna name it and we'll feel into it as we go. We have this animal card. So another part, so do some of you have animals? Maybe getting more physical activity would support you if you reconnect with the animals you do have. We just had a bunch of cards pop out. Let me see what we have. Okay, we have grieving and we have inspiration. Okay, so part of the path of forgiveness is allowing the truth to bubble up to the surface, right? Allowing yourself the appropriate time to actually grieve. Oh, I didn't even realize we had another card here. We have clarity in reverse. Okay, this is totally in alignment with the rest of the messages, and I couldn't help it. I looked at the unconscious position, but I'll tell you later. So much of the healing pathway to forgiveness or through forgiveness is in actually allowing yourselves to be vulnerable enough to speak your truth out in the world. Not capital T universal law truth, your truth. Your truth in this present moment, your lowercase t truth, the truth of what your internal parts are feeling. It doesn't matter what your rational mind knows to be true. It doesn't matter what your logical, rational, mature, wise, higher self knows is the pathway. The point is, your parts are still in pain. It's like I always talk about our parts as children because it's just an easier analogy, I think, for people to digest. So imagine if you have a child and you're the parent, and imagine if your child is hysterically crying because they had their favorite little toy they brought to school and they let someone else play with it and they broke it and they ruined it and it's not fixable, right? So your child comes home from school in hysterics because they're so upset. Logically, it was probably like a $2 toy. It's not a big deal. They're going to move. You know that your child will overcome this moment. And what's also simultaneously true is that your child is suffering in this moment. Your child is in a process of deep grief. Now, are you going to tell your child, oh, you don't need to grieve, we'll get you another toy? Or, you're going to have so many other things in your life, like this is inconsequential. No, you're not going to try to logic and reason with your child that's in hysterics, right? That's in full grief-stricken turmoil. You're not going to do that. What are you going to do? What you're going to do is you're going to hold your arms open, hold your child, rock them, love them, tell them that you're with them, tell them that it's okay, let it out, let yourself, get out all of the emotions. I'm so sorry this happened. I'm so sorry you lost your toy. I'm so sorry you have to go through this pain, but you're allowed to be here in your pain, right? You're allowed to take up space with your truth of this moment. Where in your life have you not done this for your internal parts? Where in your world, in your interior journey, would you like to be there for certain parts of self that you've never let grieved? It's really easy, especially if you grew up in a family where showing emotions wasn't really welcome, or in a society where showing emotions and vulnerability wasn't welcome. It was seen as a weakness. This might be really difficult for you. So honor what's showing up. Honor the truth of this. You've now heard these words. Allow them to integrate and embody and to sink in through the fascia into the marrow of who you are, of your life, and allow yourself to just be curious. You don't have to go looking around turning over every stone of your history to find out, oh, did I grieve enough there? Did I do enough there? Whatever it is. Just know that the seed has been planted by you just hearing these words. And I guarantee that at some point in your, future life, you will, if spirit wants you to, go back and hold space for one of your parts, it'll show up. The memory will show up. The emotion will show up, right? The abandoned, unexpressed emotion will show up. So allow yourselves to grieve in whatever capacity this is for you. There's no such thing as too small in the realm of energy. Every unexpressed emotion creates a block or creates an energy leak. It creates, I'm getting the visual of what happens when you don't release energy. What happens when you don't release like gas, or when what happens when you don't go to the bathroom? What happens? It causes other issues. It causes pain and blockages and other discomfort in the body. The same goes for emotions, but we're we're so detached from that thinking, from that way of associating our emotions as energy, that we don't think of it that way. So I'm starting to call you to another way of existing, right? To a kinder way of existence. Sorry, my brain is scrambling right now. To exist in a way that is kinder to self. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? The only other message that I'm seeing here, okay, so we have this clarity card in reverse. By allowing yourself to grieve, by allowing yourself to take up space with your emotional body, which Carolyn Mace's favorite quote of mine is, the pursuit of emotions is the pursuit of God. Do you understand how profound that is? Our emotions, and this is a quote from me now, our emotions are stepping stones to our truth. That's just the way it is. And if we are bypassing all of those stepping stones, we are not going to get to where we need to go, to where our spirit wants us to go. So it is our duty, our job, to become a diligent steward of our emotional truth, and allow ourselves that, allow our throat chakras to really activate, allow the wheel to turn, right? Allow this work to move through. Okay, anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Whoa, I just had an avalanche. Okay, there's a lot of cards here. I'm not going to take them. It's too many. Please be clear, Spirit. Okay, you know, it's funny, that flew out and I put it back, it came out again. So we have love in reverse. I mean, again, remember, this is a forgiveness reading. It is time to deploy as much love as humanly possible. People, I'm going to ask you, what is the thing that makes you feel love? Where in your life have you felt the most love? It's time. This is a journal prompt. Where in my life have I felt the most love? Have I received the most loved? Have I been able to share the most love? See what comes up, because this is now an excavation of self-awareness around how your unique personhood experiences this thing we call love. You're being called to excavate the qualities or the experience of love, and to remember and bring those energies back into your physical body and see how those memories make you feel. And if you haven't had, if no memories come to mind when you've felt love, then that's also your work, right? That's also forgiving the parts of self or other people who weren't able to give you love, who should have given you love. Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your community, maybe it's your religious group, maybe it's your fill in the blank, right? So by calling upon these memories of love, you are reactivating the reference points in the physical vessel. And that's really just to uproot these seeds a little bit so that you can remember what they are, and then you get to replant them and carry them with you. And if you choose to water them in a new way, to really claim something. But why am I inviting you to excavate these moments of love? Mainly because you're going to need to deploy this profound love for the parts of self, the people, places, and things that you need to forgive. We cannot forgive without love. We can say the words all we want, but if you, in the quiet of your own home, in the quiet of your own heart, if when you think of that person, place, or thing, or your own behavior, and you still feel activated, you still feel a trigger, you still feel angry or grief or something, you have not fully forgiven. Right? Forgiving someone completely means coming back into full love of self and love of other. Even if you don't understand why they did what they did or why you did what you did, you can still let it go and surrender to know that you are a divinely fallible human, that if spirit wants you to learn how to move in a different way, it will show you, right? The quantum field will gift you with another opportunity to wield your love and forgiveness in a way that feels in alignment and free, in a way that is not contracted in fear, but expanded in love. Does that make sense? If you have any questions about this, please always feel free to put stuff in the comments. Anything else about this, love? Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Life purpose just came flying out. Here's the thing, everyone. You guys know that the purpose of my channel is to is to anchor unconditional love, authenticity, and infinite oneness, right? Part of that oneness piece is being able to move with the collective, to anchor love with the collective, to really embody this concept that anything we do to other, we do to self. Anything we do to self, we do to other. This is a universal truth. This is a big heavy hitter, mama bear truth. What is in one is in the all. I'm sure you've heard a million versions of that if you're on this spiritual path. But to actually take that from an idea form and, I'm doing this move, like to allow it to sink down through the chakras, down through the fascia, down into the marrow of our souls, the marrow of who we are on the planet, is a massive, massive undertaking. By being able to deploy love in a moment of pain and grief and adversity, this is helping pave the way to your soul's divine purpose, right? By being able to forgive someone, you're essentially learning how to love them through this pain and love yourself through this pain and detach from who and what you thought they were. Right? So often our ego projects a whole freaking narrative onto this person, place, or thing about why we think, who they are, what they're doing. We have so much judgment, right? And all of that judgment is because the ego is scared and wants to control and create safety, right? So by learning how to forgive, we are also learning how to surrender and let go. We're learning how to surrender and let go of needing to know why they are how they are. Why did they did that to me? Why did this happen to me? We're surrendering it all. And that gives way to all of this extra life force that we were allocating to this pain, to this grief. And that brings in our life purpose. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. And I just happened to look in the unconscious. We have manifestation in the reverse. So again, the reversal in the unconscious is a false shadow for me. So you might think that your inability to forgive something is what's blocking your manifestations, your abundance, your life purpose. But I'm here to tell you it's not what you think it is. It's also not what you think it's going to look like. So there's no sense in trying to figure out the end goal before you take the first few steps. You make the way by walking the way. So stop trying to control the end game and just focus on the next step in front of you. What is the next kindest thing I could do for myself and other in this present moment? Period. That's it. Whew. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful reading on forgiveness. I hope this was supportive. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share in the comments below. I'm sending you all so much love, and I will see you in the next one.